Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to the live conversation on ALLATRA TV. This broadcast is a part of the Creative Society project launched on the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement. At the moment, our goal is to inform all people on Earth about the possibility of building a creative society, a society where every person is happy, safe, and comfortable. In order to achieve it, we use the modern technologies and the rule of 6 handshakes. The more we talk about the idea of building a creative society, the faster it will be implemented. You can learn more about this wonderful project by visiting our website, ALLATRAunites.com. So once again, welcome everyone. My name is Christina, and my co-host today is lovely Carla, and she will introduce our today's guest.
Hi, everybody, and thank you again for being with you today. I do have a pleasure to introduce you Ann Murphy, and she is an incredible health coach, and that leads people really to create. Can you hear me well? Yes? Yeah? Okay. She leads people really to tap into their greatness through another view of health and wellness. So it's a huge honor to have you here today, Ann. She is in the United States, and now, she is really impacting and creating a new perspective of how we can connect with ourselves through health and wellness. So I would love to that you will introduce a little bit about yourself to the audience, right? And what is the first one thing that drives you to do what you're doing?
So I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I had a health crisis 20 years ago now, and I was always somebody who was drawn to like nature. You know, the outside. I've always been a person drawn to these things. So I had this health crisis, and I went to a specialist, and they wanted to put me on this list of medications. Well, I went home and I researched, and I found out that a lot of those medications could kill me. And I had a newborn, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So it didn't make sense to me. So it led me down this rabbit hole of what else can I do? And it led me to learning how to take control of my health. And I was able to help myself get better. And it led me to, I went to nutrition school, studied psychology of eating, digestion, the immune system, toxins in the body. And then I took a deep dive in environmental toxins and their effects on the body and how to, get rid of them, both the exposure and what's inside you, and then mindset. So it was just like all of this stuff, that I brought together. And that's when I guess I started working with people in 2011 when I graduated nutrition school. And then what was your question?
What drives you?
What drives me?
Yeah, exactly. What is the main core for you to really put yourself out there and inspire other people to take responsibility about the health and wellness?
That's it right there. You need to take responsibility of your health. Nobody can fix you. And I can't tell. I've had people, well, you're going to tell me what to eat. Oh, I don't know what you should eat, but I know how to help you find out what works best for you. So what drives me is teaching people to take that responsibility and to realize that we have the power to heal. Our bodies are programmed to heal. Our bodies are always trying to keep homeostasis, keep us in balance, and keep us healthy and going. And we've lost that. We've lost touch of that. So that is, I guess, my driving force is to help people realize you can be the expert on yourself because nobody else can be. And that there's a lot of things to slowly start to implement that make changes. And some of that's adding in and some of that's taken away. And that's the beauty of it. And you have the power to have that knowledge as to what you need. You just need to learn how to tap back into it because it's there.
Mm-hmm. I think it's super important what you just say, right? I mean, it's not about tell someone what you need to do is, okay, give these possibilities and you choose what is the best for you. It's completely different approach, right? Before we're getting in, our producers I have done some beautiful collage for you, right? And we do desire that you will share a little bit about your story. As you said, nature is one of your core, and in 1 second it's going to be on the screen. So just share with us your inner beauty. Look at this, beautiful.
Yeah. So, okay. So if you look at the bottom left to the ocean and the bay, I grew up on Long Beach Island, New Jersey. I spent all of my summers there and some of my winters. And that bay picture with the sunset, I've been going there my whole life. My sister now owns the house that we grew up in, and I still go there. And so I always, when I was growing up, I would always say, well, I have salt in my veins and sand in my toes. Like, it never leaves. So, you know, I love nature. I love being outside. I hike, you know, I live in the woods in Pennsylvania. I hike. So, you know, that's a big part of me. That middle picture, I love that one with the, that is, I call, we were standing in front of that mural, and that's my soul sister, Kat. I call her my sister from another mother and father. She is a true sister to me. She lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I go out there every year, except I didn't go last year because of, you know, everything that's been going on. But we always have fun together. And we were in downtown Tulsa, and there's that mural. I have pictures up. We were playing, pretending we were playing the instruments, having fun, because fun's important. We have to have fun. The bottom right, that was me teaching a cooking class. I used to teach at a yoga studio for about 2 years. Every month I taught a cooking class. Right above that, with the holding the vegetables, one of my lady farmer friends, she's an organic farmer, and that was at her table. And I growing up, I wanted to be a farmer. I love having my hands in the dirt, and I love fresh vegetables. Like, I go to her farm, and there's a lot of organic Amish farms by me. So, and that was just, I was messing around I actually was doing a little photo shoot there. That that picture in the center in the top there with the water, that is actually Loch Ness, and that is the Loch Ness Castle ruins. I was there in 2018 in the Highlands of Scotland, exploring all over, and oh my God, I loved it. It's a magical place. It really is. The weather stinks, but it's magical. But that I put my hand in the Loch Ness, and that was just such a incredible experience for me.
As mysterious as they say it is, that there is this monster
it is. It's mysterious. It's magical. It's yeah. When I was in the castle ruins, one of the men who works there, he would. I know more about Scottish history now than I did then, but he was giving me all this like history, and it was so captivating. I talked to him for like 20 minutes, and he was just like the MacDonald clan. That's my clan. We held this castle for, it was like over 200 years. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I don't know what it means, but it's so cool. But yeah, magical place. And then those are my 3 kids. In the other picture, we go apple picking. There's an apple orchard. Well, there's a bunch of, I live out in the woods. I live out in the country, and but there's this one place we go to every fall and pick a whole bunch of baskets of apples, and then we come home and we make applesauce, apple pies. This year I want to make apple butter. So yeah, but that's just something that me and my kids do, and they're girlfriends, boyfriends, and stuff go too. But and we just have fun. We make it a day of it. So yeah, so that's, I'm about outdoors and real food, and everything, like the organicness of life, not this man-made stuff, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Anne, for the wonderful pictures. It gave us an insight of, your life, and it just felt like we're there with you, being the part of the family. So thank you for that. And coming back to our interview, I would like to ask you, how important is it to change your own mindset, and how do negative thoughts affect our life and our health as well?
That's the number one thing. I remember when I was in nutrition school, there was a woman who had graduated a year or two before me, and she was specializing in working with people who were obese. And I remember an interview that she was on. She was talking about the first 3 months, we don't do anything with food or exercise. We work on the mindset. And a lot of times they actually start losing weight before we even add anything else, make any like physical changes. And, it's so important. And it's something, I'm so much better at helping other people with mindset. I still have my struggles with mindset, like I said, we're always in flux. And, but the mindset's key, because like I've had people, well, I don't have time to cook, or I don't have time to do this. And it's like, well, but that's a priority. So how can we shift this? And a lot of times, and it's not, I've had people, well, I want to get rid of my negative thinking. Well, you're not going to get rid of it. Like, we're wired that way. But you can learn to realize that it's just a thought or a feeling. That doesn't mean it's real. And that it's all stories, and we can change the stories. I had a mentor once, she used to say, somebody else has had that pen. Now it's your turn to pick up the pen and start writing. So, it is a key, and it is something that I when I'm working with people, I help them become aware of that. Like, what is that negative stuff? And then, so now let's look at it in another way. And sometimes those negative thoughts can actually be an impetus to change as well. So it's key. And I guess learning how to reverse that, that's a process, and that's something that I try and really work with people on as we're, making changes. And like I said, it's easier to help other people. So, don't beat yourself up if you're like mindset, because even I have 2 mindset certifications, and even a couple ran that program, and they would share like, wow, I've really been in it today, and then how they got out of it, so it's an important part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with that, because I've been also in so many cases, you have so many bad thoughts, and you're thinking like, is it really me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why would I be damaging myself, and harming myself with these like thoughts? So once I realize, that I'm in control of it, I should be in control of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I can choose whether, okay, I don't want to listen to this,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to, change and switch my attention onto something else, You can choose either to have this, accept this emotion, or you can switch to something else. So
yeah, well, and that's just like, you have a bad day and it just spiral. Well, the first time I ever did it, like, because it used to be like, okay, that would just like just be down. The first time I actually like, oh, okay, wait a minute, it doesn't have to be this way. Like, I can put my attention on something else and realize that just because I'm having these feelings and thoughts doesn't mean they're real, doesn't mean they're based in anything. And I was able to like turn it around, and I like restarted my day, and it had a totally different outlook than it would have had before.
Right. So we create, our reality, with
Mm-hmm.
our thoughts, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted also to ask you, that, nowadays, majority of people, I would say, suffer from this like burnout syndrome. They're exhausted from work. They're in a constant hustle. They don't have enough time, for their families, for themselves. And how important, in your opinion, is it to slow down? And how can we create this healthy work-life balance?
I've worked with people on this. I've had several clients with this, and me myself. I had a very successful network marketing business before I got into this, and I burned out. I ended up with adrenal fatigue and just total burnout. And I can honestly say that learning to work less is the most important thing. I know so many people who went through the same thing, and they always talk about, well, now I work less and I have more time and more money. The push. If you don't have time to go outside, that's when you need to go outside. If you're like, I've been sitting here for 4 hours and I still haven't gotten this written and I still haven't done this, go away, put it away. I have a deadline. Screw the deadline, because you change that scene. The best thing to do is go outside. But if you can't do that, go do something else, because what happens is it changes the neurons that are being fired. And if you go outside and get in nature, I mean, they've actually scientifically, proven that it literally changes the whole physicality of yourself. And when I'm feeling that way, or like, even if I'm frustrated or can't figure it's go outside, go to the woods. If I'm at the shore, go to the bay, go to the ocean, go do something outside. I go out in the woods, I hike, I hug trees, because it literally, it changes the whole, those negative ions change everything in your whole body, and it literally changes. And a lot of times when you're not thinking about what you need to work on, and you are doing something else, answers come, because it's changed that dynamic. It's taken that stress, that a lot of times you may not even realize that the amount of stress that you had. So yeah, it's so important. We need to slow down. We need to have time. And I remember this was early on. I was in my 20s and I worked at an insurance company, and this woman said, she was a secretary to the manager, and she said, I used to get so upset and I would take work home, and she goes, and I realized, like, this is just what I do. It's not who I am. And the same thing, if you have a business, it's still like, yes, it is a part of you and a projecting of you, but it's not who you are. And I think we are so caught up in success, and it's always be more, do more. And we're human beings, and we don't be anymore. So I think it's really important, take that step back and make that time for yourself, for your friends, for your family.
It's very wise. Thank you. It's super crucial to really start tapping into who we are, right? And who we are being in the moment, and not to be outside of ourselves. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So as we started this broadcast, right? We spoke a little bit about ALLATRA International Public Movement as well, and this led to this amazing project, really to understand what that means to build and to create a creative society. And this platform, for at least 9 years, has been asking people all over the world about how they envisioning, right, creative society and what unify everybody. And after really analyzing a lot of people, few thousands and people, right, everybody came to an incredible, the pillars of what we desire to see in this creative society. And we would like really to discuss a little bit the first foundation with you. So I think it's important, because this will give us the opportunity to understand that, as you said before, is who we are, right? In the human life, the self itself is important to pay attention about it. So we would love to discuss with you this principle, this fundamental.
Okay, and would you like to read it out, please?
Yeah. Human life is the highest value. Life of any human has to be protected as one's own. The goal of society is to ensure and guarantee the value of each human's life. There is not and never can there be anything else more valuable than a human's life. If one human is valuable, then all people are valuable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think a lot of times we lose sight of that. I think a lot of times we lose sight of even somebody. I'll give, for instance, one of my dear friends owns a historic bed and breakfast. It's a Victorian mansion. It was built in the 1800s. And she's got this guy, when she bought the inn, I guess like 13 years ago, this man, Rosie, came with the inn. He's on a work program. He's like 60 some years old, and he's got the mentality of like a 6 or 7 year old, maybe 8 or 9. It's very, but he comes in every Monday and he does the laundry and he does whatever else, is asked of him. And we all love him. The value that he brings and the importance he brings. And like, if he can't, my daughter actually manages the bed and breakfast, and she'll be like, oh, Rosie didn't come in today. And we're like, was he okay? So just people would marginalize someone like that. A lot of people would, and the value that he brings, and just like, I'll walk in and he's like, hey, how you doing, Ann? Or
Mm-hmm.
Tyler will come home and she's like, Rosie was asking, how's your mom today? So I think we need to realize that nobody's better than anybody else. Everybody brings
Mm-hmm.
something of value to the table. And I think we can learn from everybody. There's an autistic girl that comes into my chiropractor's office, and I saw her yesterday. I hadn't seen her in a couple of weeks, and there's so much there, and I've actually over the years gotten so much from her. So I think it's really important that people realize that everybody does matter.
Yeah,
everybody adds something.
So under your point of view, what every person can really contribute to create that better society, and how you can really think that you can absolutely inspire other people to start taking that responsibility that we spoke about before? What do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's, I think what you said there with people taking the responsibility, I think in our society, that personal responsibility has been lost. And I think that goes along with what we were talking about with mindset, that we've been, I believe, duped into thinking that we don't have that personal responsibility. Again, like, oh, well, the doctor knows best for me. No doctor was going to get me better, and even like all this stuff, like we've got all these, basically lock you in your home arrest. And it's like, what about the personal responsibility? We've always had virus. We have more in us and on us than we have human DNA. And it's like, what about the personal responsibility? There's no safety in life ever. Nothing is safe. You assess your risks. and then decide, is it something I want to do or not do, depending on what those risks are. And I think that goes with everything in life. Like, you know, we all have to take that personal responsibility, and it's something that has been really, I think the importance of it has been kind of negated, taken away, and we want everybody else to fix us and everybody else to do for us and everybody else to tell us what we should do. And I mean, that's not how you be optimal in anything.
Yeah.
So,
I completely agree with that, you know, the responsibility is on us and it's all in our hands, like what kind of future we create for us. So it's the same with our society, you know, because we delegated our responsibility, us as humanity, to someone else, and we're waiting that somebody will come and fix all the problems, but they won't. And I came across like a really nice post of you, very interesting post. And if you don't mind, I would read it out.
Yeah, go ahead.
So quoting you, Anne, it's interesting, ... If you eat real organic food and stay away from man-made chemical-laden packaged pseudo-food, yes, that is what it is, fake food, you are considered extreme, like there is something wrong with you. If you prioritize and get yourself moving throughout your day, get out in nature, take time to make real food, hydrate, avoid toxins throughout your day, you are extreme. Never mind that doing this causes less illness, less chronic issues, less weight, and make you feel energetic and alive. People tend to look at you like you're a bit crazy, extreme. Here's how I look at it. Extreme? I think it's pretty extreme to be on numerous medications, struggle with weight, suffer from one or more chronic issues, not feel good, beat yourself up at the gym, need caffeine and other aids to have energy. I think it is extreme to have body parts cut out, to be reliant on medications, to not be able to get outside and be physical with your body, to expect that diabetes, asthma, heart issues, blood pressure issues, anxiety, depression, cancer are normal parts of life. Remember, just because it is common does not mean it is normal. And none of the stuff that is considered normal these days is so. We do not have to experience these things if we do different, if we actually take care of our bodies, if we educate ourselves on what actually creates health. Remember, you are either adding or depleting with everything you put in your body, and the truth is, only things in their natural state can truly nourish you. So I really, really liked that post because it's, I don't know, it just says everything. So let's talk about this, like, you know,
Okay.
nowadays it's considered natural and something is considered extreme. So
it was funny when you were reading that. I could actually remember when I was writing, that was actually a rant. I was like, that was a rant because, yeah, I had a conversation with somebody and I was really frustrated because like their health problems were, well, it's just the way it is. I'm like, no, it's not, you know, and I think they were going to be having like the doctor wanted them to have surgery or something. And I'm like, why? No, like, why? Like, and that goes back to what we were talking about before. Like, we have been programmed into thinking like that this is the way it is, that it's normal to get sick. It's not normal to get sick. Any kind of illness and even pain, you know, like I have major back issues, but that's all, there's a root to it, you know, and it's learning that root. And but that's considered extreme. Oh, no, just take medications and you know, that's normal. And it's like, it's backwards. And I think, again, it comes back to that changing the thought patterns around that mindset and learning. Like, nobody wants to actually learn. Well, how does this creation that we're in, how does it work? You know, and this pseudo food, when you look at when you look at health, 100 years ago, 1 in 1,000 people had cancer. And now it's like, what, 1 in 4, I think? When I was growing up, I knew one kid who had a food allergy. And now everybody's got, if not an allergy, a sensitivity. People don't even realize it. Well, what's changed? What they put in their body. And it was, so when I had my health crisis, I literally one day came home and threw out everything in my kitchen and started getting organic food. And like, I always ate real food, but I ate packaged, like I used processed stuff too, and it was like, I got rid of that. And the difference that it made, like, I felt it right away. And I can tell now, like, if I eat something that's not real, and even if it's not organic, I feel it in my body, so we have taken that, and that just because something is common doesn't mean it's normal. That's something I say about everything. Like, oh yeah, well, no, just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal, because it's not normal to have aches and pains. It's not normal to have digestive issues. It's not normal to not have energy. It's not normal to need caffeine to be able to function or
Yeah,
think.
exactly.
Like, that's not normal. So, yeah, that little rant, like, that was kind of, I was like, oh my God, like, people think like all this stuff, like, it's normal to take. I remember when I first started health coaching, for the first 3 years, I worked with a massage therapist. I worked in her office, and I would work with people who were younger than me, and they were taking like 3 or 4 medications. And I'm like, I mean, I still to this day don't take anything, and okay, a family member, one of my brother-in-laws, when I go to the shore, I take my own food because they don't eat the way I do. So I take my own food. And I had a brother-in-law tell me, sitting at the table, I was eating, and he's like, you're crazy, And I looked at him and I'm like, yeah. And he says, yeah, like all this stuff and all you do, it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. I didn't say anything, but I'm thinking to myself, you're only a couple years older than me, and I know you take 3 or 4 medications, like serious health, and and I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, and that all could be changed. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't say anything because what I've realized, I'm not talking to people who don't want to hear it anymore, because it just frustrates me. It doesn't affect them.
Right. But if we like take it, this story, for example, from the side of, again, going back to the first foundation of creative society, human's life.
Mm-hmm.
So in creative society, if human's life is the highest value, it's in the first place, right? Then imagine.
I love that.
The food, we won't get poisoned, because
right.
human life is the highest value. So it affects every single sphere of life of every single person.
Yeah. Because everything, see, and that's, okay. So what you eat, people say to me, oh, you look great. I'm going to be 58 in a couple months. Nobody believes it. They think I'm in my 40s. And it's like, food becomes your cells. So what you're eating is what you're looking at. People say, oh, well, how's your skin? And it's like, because I eat real food, because I drink a lot of water. This is with me all the time. I take care of myself. I eat to energize. Like, we eat to the basic reasons we eat are to keep our brain working, because our brain keeps all the systems in our body functioning, and what we eat affects ourselves. Like the whole epigenetics, what genes are only 10% of what's going to happen to you. 90% is, what are you doing? What are you eating? What are you thinking? You know, are you using your body? Like all of this stuff that we have control of. And that's all that makes the decision of what gets fired and what doesn't. So yeah, like it all comes back to food's right in there with that first rule there. Like
I agree.
It amazes me that it's just like over people's heads.
Yeah, I think we have to create that constructive, creative society where even if we have the things that is normalized, right? Because there is a pattern, doesn't mean, as you said before, that is the right thing. We have to be really a thinking process to really analyze what we're leading to, and how it's very important in this moment, because if we want to create a healthier society as well, we have to put the pillars and the foundation, as we spoke before. And it started all with a really observation of how our society is building in the basics, with the pillars that are related to the well-being, right? The health, relationships, and so on. So it's a huge opportunity to create that reflection and introspection.
You know, what you just said there, Carla, that's a huge part of it, like the well-being and the health, because that what you're putting in, so you know, it becomes you know, your cells and all that, and all of that influences your thoughts and your feelings and your actions.
Correct.
So when you look at what's going on in the world today, like, I mean, and on all levels, you know, everything, there's so much being fueled by those pseudo foods, those things that people, you know, and what are they doing? It's not building. Again, you're either, you know, adding or taking away. You're either, you know, depleting or building, you know, in your body and in your mind and in what you do. And I think so much of it is depleted, and that's why, and forced. There's so much force and yang energy, you know, push and force. And again, when you look at, you know, when you look at yin and yang, when you look at that stuff, even when you look at the Tao, it's all, it's about ebb and flow. And it's about, yeah, we need force, but we also need that gentleness, that lightness, that, that space, and that, coming from the feelings and the emotion part, not the force, and let it flow. And I can remember, my mindset mentor, we were actually, he was doing a thing on the Tao with a chapter from one of the books. And he was like, he said, you know, so you got this big river and you got this huge boulder in the middle of it. Where's the power coming from? And some people were like, well, that rock, because it's standing there and it's making the water part. And he's like, is it really? It's using force to push, and the river, it's just flowing and saying, oh yeah, I'll go around it like this. And guess what? It's wearing that rock down a little bit at a time, you know? And I really, like, when I look at, especially like, you know, people in business, they're, what we were talking about, always go, got to do more, always got to, you know, oh, well, meet this goal, got to meet the next goal, got to do this, that. And even our politics, like worldwide, it's all like force, and push. There's no yin, it's all yang. There's nothing that's flowing, and flow is the best state to be in.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. We have to balance, and we have to really co-create together, right? To build something different. So in the beginning, we wanted to also pay attention about the 6 handshakes, but we said 6 connection 6, right? Something where we are asking our guest to nominate someone right? Because this is a way how we can co-create together. We can come mindset people into discussions, into express who they are and how they can impact and inspire other people to overcome difficulties and to create another mindset. So I will ask you if you have in mind any kind of person that you want to invite to the platform. That will be awesome.
I do.
Yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. She's a very dear friend of mine, and she's a organic gourmet cook. She and her husband used to have an organic farm. They moved, but they are putting a farm in their new property. And she teaches classes on food and all kinds of stuff. Her name's Ann Cantrell, and I think she'd be awesome. Yeah, she's like me, like she does energy work too, and just a lot of stuff. Like I do Reiki, but it's another form of energy work. So yeah, I'd like to nominate Ann Marie.
Great.
Fantastic.
We're looking forward to meet her. And Anne, thank you very much. And I would like to ask you last question. If you were given, imagine you were given a world's microphone where all media channels were in your control for just 60 seconds, what would be your message to all people and why?
I think my message would be that, you are the expert of you, and health doesn't have to be hard. Weight doesn't have to be hard. If you learn to listen to the body, we have this innate ability to be well. We have this innate ability to be maintained. Our bodies know what to do if given the right tools. And I think it's one of the most important things we could all do is get back to learning to listen to it and using those tools, and really stop giving our power away.
Mm-hmm.
Stop giving our power away and take that 1%. I always tell people it's 1% every day. Just do a little bit, because a little bit adds up at the end of the week. If you do 1% instead of 100% all at once, and then, oh, I can't do it. I think we have that backward. That goes to that force again. So like, let's stop forcing and let's learn to flow and I guess appreciate what we are, who we are, because we all have there's that inner beauty and that inner just gift that everybody is.
Thank you very much for this lovely message. Thank you, Anne, for being with us today. It's wonderful, to meet new people and to meet the people who are, who conquered some, crises in themselves, who are a real role model, for other people, and showing, that we can change here and now. And the more people like this, the faster, we will change our society for the better. So thank you one more time for being with us. Thank you, Carla, for
Thank you. My pleasure.
Co-host. And I would like to say to dear viewers, if you would like to learn more about the Creative Society project, to become the part of our team, please visit ALLATRAunites.com, where you would see the red button, Join Us. You can click it, and you can choose your own language and share your vision of a creative society. Would want to be our guest or a part of our team, please send us an email. So thank you very much, Anne, for the lovely and warm conversation. It was a pleasure meeting you today, and see you all soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I appreciate it.